where, in his situation.
Dwayne, listen now, listen.
Would it have been a way to do creative financing and use hard money for us first, and then refi out of both down the line to save him? So he basically came out of pocket with zero? Because of the cap rate.
No, with the hard money lender, he's still gonna have to come out of his pocket with some money. Hard money lender, he's gonna probably have to come up with about 10%.
Which would have been better than 25, which would have been 250.
Yeah, so I mean, that's an option for him. So we'll talk about that. He has the money and the financing and so he could.
I don't want to pay interest on money down.
That's right.
So he could do that, and it's probably his cash on cash return would probably be a lot better because he's putting up a lot less cash up front. Even though he's paying a hard money lender, the cash out of his pocket would be a lot less. So, and then when he refinances and pays off the second, he's not gonna have to come. He'll have enough equity. He won't have to come to the table with any money. So that's an example, you guys, of what real estate investing can do for you if you learn how to find deals. And so the key to your success as a real estate investor, the key to your success, even if you have no clue as to what we just talked about. Does anybody have no clue of what we just said? Or y'all have some clues? Okay, a tiny bit.
My hand is halfway out.
You was following a little bit. Even if you have no clue as to what we just said, two things. Number one, he got a great deal. And number two, you have to do some marketing in order to get a deal like that or to get any kind of deal. The key to your success as a real estate investor, the key to your success as an entrepreneur, key to your success, a lot of real estate agents in here, is finding deals. Investor that can find the most deals is going to make the most money. One of my buddies came to see me yesterday, and his main purpose of seeing me, now he's only buying $1 million houses. He won't buy a house unless he can flip it and make $200,000. His main purpose for coming to see me is he's looking for deals. I'm here to see if you have any deals for me, and gave me some zip codes because he knows I like to market in so that he can buy from me, me wholesaling deals to him. And so the key to your success is finding deals. If you guys are taking notes, write that down. If you don't leave out of here with anything else, you have to figure out a way to find investment deals. I bought my first property a year out of college, 23 years old. And my goal was to buy one property a year. And I did that for about 5 or 6 years in a row, all in my 20s. And what I said to myself was at the time, and even now, but at that time, I had set myself that goal. I put together a marketing strategy for myself. And I said that I'm going to be the best person, the number one person that can find deals. So the only thing I could think about every single day is how I'm going to find my next deal. And so back then I was doing direct mail, and we'll talk about that. I was buying properties at the auction. We'll talk about that. My first deal, which was in DuPont Circle, I bought a 1 or 2 bedroom condo in DuPont Circle. I found out of the classified section of the Washington Post. So I was finding it that way. And then I started talking to people, networking. I started getting referral business. And so those things was really like my marketing strategy. I didn't start really cold calling until many years later. But my only focus as a real estate investor was finding deals. If you can find deals, you will make money. If you can find deals, even if you have no money whatsoever, you can wholesale that deal. Wholesaling is the act of finding a property that's under market, putting the seller under contract, and then assigning the contract to a cash buyer that will close on the deal. You're not going to use any of your own cash. You're not going to use any of your own credit. That's wholesale. So I even wholesale now. Last couple of months, I've wholesaled properties. But if you can't, your exit strategy at the end of the day is if you can't buy the property to either flip or hold, then you wholesale the property. But you have to figure out and ask yourself almost on a daily basis, how am I going to find my next deal? And that's all it's about, finding that next deal. You know, I was just in my office and Keith and I talked yesterday or the day before. That's Keith. Raise your hand, Keith. Is that Malika? Is Malika in the house? Okay, all right. And so we have a call center. And so we created a call center where we have a power dialer that dials up to 12, makes 12 calls at a time. And so we have lists. And I'll talk about this in a second, but one of our lists is pre-foreclosures. And so we're hitting pre-foreclosures every single day, 4 hours a day, every single day. That's one of our lists. And so we're marketing. Every day we're marketing. And that's your goal. And then all the other stuff that we just talked about, the scenario with Dwayne, you'll learn that. We'll teach you. You guys have more resources than you know. And so we'll teach you about creative financing. When Dwayne brought me the deal, he said, I'm buying this property for $1 million. I'm going to put 20% up and I'm going to finance 800,000. And guess what I said to him? I said, no, you're not. I said to him, we're going to get some creative financing. And so we went over there and met with the seller. And one of the first questions I asked was, are you open to holding financing? What did he say, Dwayne?
He said he would entertain it. He said he had some deal previously that fell through because of TOPA, but he would entertain it.
And so for me, that's a yes. And so when we did a letter of intent, that's what we put in there. And so you guys have to learn, you'll learn those things, but the key to your success is finding deals. And so number one on your handout is direct mail. I put direct mail number one because direct mail, and number two, cold calling is predictable. You can basically predict your success with direct mail. With direct mail, we're mailing to our targeted audience. We're mailing to a targeted audience. And we can pretty much predict with, if we mail to a targeted audience, how many phone calls we're going to get from that audience, from that mailing, how many appointments we're going to go on, and out of those appointments, how many appointments are going to be a success. It's predictable. You can predict your success. And so who are the people that we're mailing to? Somebody tell me. We have targeted audiences. I've got all my platinum coaching students in here. You guys tell me, with a direct mail piece, Karen's standing up. Oh, she must want to answer the question.
No.
Karen, was you standing up to answer the question?
No, I was standing up because I just got here.
Oh, okay. Well, stand up anyway, Karen. Karen, who should we be mailing to? We have a direct mail piece, and you guys have you have an example of one of mine on page 3. This is a postcard that I send out. What are some of the lists? You guys write this down. Who are we targeting?
Pre-foreclosure.
So you guys, we can target pre-foreclosures. You guys can get a list of pre-foreclosures. People whose houses are getting ready to go to foreclosure. You can get a list of all the pre-foreclosures in Prince George's County, all the pre-foreclosures in DC, all the pre-foreclosures in Baltimore. You can get a list. So we're targeting pre-foreclosures. Who else?
Absentee homeowners.
Absentee owners. An absentee owner is one that owns the property but doesn't live there. The house is either rented out, the landlord, or it's vacant or abandoned. That's an absentee owner. They own the property, but they don't live in the property. That's absentee. We can get a list of absentee owners for any subdivision, any zip code, any city or state across the country. So absentee owners, pre-foreclosures, what else?
You can do probate, so the personal representative of the probate.
We can target personal representatives of estates. One passes away, it's mandatory for an estate to be open. The personal representative or the executor of the estate is assigned, and that's public information. So we can get a list of personal representatives. We can mail to them, And it's public information, their phone number. Not yet. And so we can target personal representatives and mail to them or call them. Do personal representatives of a state sell in most cases? Absolutely, they sell. Why do they sell? Because they need the money. And so that's why they sell. They need the money. Generally, the personal representatives are Generation Xers or millennials, weren't taught to be entrepreneurs and save their money, invest their money. And so as soon as they get that money from the estate, as soon as they get control of the estate, they sell it and spend all the money. No, not in every situation. What else? What other lists?
So you can do vacant.
You can do vacants. Huh?
You can skip trace the address to the vacant property and get the homeowner that way.
Right. You think of anything else? Any other list?
So you always teach pre-foreclosure and absentee are the best. Pre-foreclosure.
So you can sit down now.
Thank you. So
Did she do a good job? Give her a hand. And so my favorite list are, you can get a list of out-of-state absentee owners. Out-of-state absentee owners. That's a great list, probably my favorite list. Somebody tell me why. Why is that a good list?
if they're not
Huh?
managing their properties, if they're out of state.
So they're out of state, they're absentee. Generally speaking, if the tenant is not acting right, if the tenant's not paying, if the tenant's tearing the property up, they're out of state. And they're tired of being landlord. They're tired, they're sick and tired. And so that's a great list, out of state absentee owners, as opposed to someone that lives closer to the property. Absentee owner lists are great lists, but a better list is out of state. And so we're mailing out to out of state absentee owners, pre-foreclosures. You can get a list of high equity homeowners, homeowners with either 50% or more equity, or homeowners who own their houses free and clear. You can get those lists as well. Who can tell me, where do you get the list? Are the lists easy to get? Where? You can use listsource.com. Where else can you get the list? List, I think it's on the handout. Yeah, listsource.com on 1C. So you can get a list from listsource.com. Where else? PropStream. You guys write down propstream.com. PropStream is a CRM for real estate investors that has marketing templates. It has, you can store all your contacts in there. PropStream. Everything that I say is on a handout, you guys. So PropStream, you can get a list from PropStream. And we just recently ran a list from PropStream. You can get a list from listability.com. Listability.com. And I've used Melissa Data. Melissa, like the woman's name, Melissa. MelissaData.com. You can get a list there. Now on page 3, this is a front and back of a postcard that I've used. I got this list this postcard from postcardmania.com. Postcardmania. I got this postcard from Postcardmania. You can do postcards out of PropStream, and there's other companies that you can do postcards from, direct mail. What I liked about Postcardmania is not only do they'll send out the postcards for you, but they also generate the list. And so for this postcard, I asked them for all of the absentee owners in Prince George's County, and give me a list of all the homeowners in Clinton, Maryland. And so they ran a list for me, and then they mailed out this postcard. Hey, Harry, can you see if they can do something with the air? Anybody else hot?
Yes.
Okay. And so that's the list. And so what they did was they ran the list, they mailed this out for 6 months for me, and then they actually sent me the list. Now so with the list, I sent the list to, write this down, reiskip.com. I sent the list that they gave me, that they mailed to, I sent that list to reiskip.com. And almost in real time, REI Skip sent me back all the phone numbers, all the email addresses, and all the social media handles. And so now Postcard Mania mailed out to that list. And now I've got virtual assistants calling that list, and we had them call like a dozen times and emailed to that list. And because we had the phone numbers, we sent text messages to that list as well. Use this platform called Textedly. And so we hit that same list about 4 or 5 different times continuously. And so that's a strategy for direct mail. And like I said, with that direct mail mailing, an absentee owner called me, and Keith had been looking for a house. Keith, raise your hand. Does everybody know Keith? Keith, raise your hand. An absentee owner called me, house in Bowie, what I call Old Bowie, and said, I want to sell my house. I went over there, and I said, you know what, this is a good investment property, but I'm going to be a good brother. I think this might be a good house for Keith. And so Keith actually went over there and bought the house. And now he's living in the house. I don't know if he's going to later use that as an investment property and move out, but Keith bought that house from this direct mail piece. You guys just ought to give him a hand. That's a true story. And so direct mail, you guys, direct mail. So one last thing on direct mail. I'm busy. I'm busy every day. I am. Don't tell me that you tried to call me and I didn't call you back. And so look, you guys, I'm busy, but I need to find properties, right? And so what I like to do for myself is I like a marketing strategy that I can kind of set it and forget it, where I can call a company like Postcard Mania and they set me up with postcards that are going to automatically go out every month for 6 months, or every month for a year. And so that's what I like. So a lot of the things that I do, because I'm busy, I've got things automatically going out. And so this is one with the direct mail. It's automatically go out. Some of you guys are investors or want to be investors. You guys work full-time jobs. A lot of things that I'm going to talk about, you may or may not have the time for. Direct mail, you have the time for, because you just kind of set it up, spend, 30 minutes, an hour setting it up, and the representatives with the company set it up. Now you're just waiting for a phone call or an email. That's all, because you know automatically that these postcards are going out. And so in my early 20s, I did direct mail because in my mind, I could set it and forget. I've got marketing going out. And I know that I have to market. And so I've got that going out without me having to do anything every single day. You guys with me? Okay. All right, so that's direct mail. Focus on an area, a targeted area, and send your postcards out. I gave you guys the different lists that I think are the best lists. All right, cold calling. Cold calling is also predictable. There's what's called KPIs or analytics that can tell us for how many calls we make, we're going to get X amount of appointments. And out of those appointments, we're going to get X amount of deals that close. And so we have KPIs or analytics, or it's very, very predictable with the cold calling. Now, again, you guys, a lot of my coaching students make calls. They cold call, they get a list, the sort of the list that we just talked about, the same list, certain areas, and they make calls. There's scripts and things like that they use, but they make phone calls. Now, if you do not have the time to make calls, like I don't have the time to make calls, you get a virtual assistant to make the calls for you. Now, we use a virtual assistant. Most of our virtual assistants are out of the Philippines. We pay them $6, $7 an hour, and they call, 4 hours a day? They call about 4 hours a day. And so you can just kind of do the math. I think it's $28 a day?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. And so you
5
get,
days, 5 days a week.
and so they make the calls for us. They use a dialer. Some of our students use Mojo dialer. And so our virtual assistants aren't picking up the phone and dialing themselves. They're using a dialer that's the numbers are loaded up in the software and it's dialing. Mojo dials about 3 calls at a time. Our power dialer through calltools.com makes 12 calls at a time, which means you can get through a list pretty quickly. And so, cold calling. And so on page, I gave you guys some examples. There's a flyer on page 4, another flyer or postcard on page 5. Page 6 through 9, I'll say, are either letters or scripts that you guys can use when you're calling. Keith, when you're calling, let's say you have a list of pre-foreclosures, what is that script like? Stand up, Keith. Let's get one of your students and why don't you role play real quick?
Why are you looking down?
I think Jade is looking down too.
Yeah.
Jade is looking down.
Karen,
Karen.
stand up.
Oh, why are you picking on Karen again?
We'll have her stand up again. So, this is the short version,
Okay,
okay? I'm calling you, you're in pre-foreclosure.
all right.
Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Keith Bennett. I'm an investor here in Prince George's County, and I buy properties for cash. I also work off of records, and my records are telling me that your property, the one that you have at 123 Main Street, may or may not be in a pre-foreclosure situation. So I was just reaching out to see if you were aware of this at all.
I am.
Okay. And so what are you doing about that? Is it your plan to keep the house, or might it be time to move on, or what are you thinking?
What can you do to help me?
So, well, I want to set an appointment firstly, so we can sit down with my cash buyer. We can kind of explain just how we can help you. We're going to introduce some things that your bank may not let you know about.
I've had cash buyers call me before. Can yours perform? I don't want to.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I don't want to waste my time.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I can send you some information on my cash buyer that shows you that he's got the cash and that he's able to perform.
Okay,
Also, one thing that's important for you to know is we've got documentation, so I'll send you a sample copy of our contract so you'll know how everything's laid out. Nobody's going to jail. Greg Bennett's contracts are vetted by his lawyers. And then finally, that's even more important is we're going to close the deal at an investor-friendly title company.
okay, I think that's important. I've heard Greg's name, so when can you come see me?
Right. So let's try. I'm looking at my calendar right now. It looks like I have time Sunday after church or Monday. Which one of those days and times works best for you?
Probably Monday between 10 and 12.
Okay. So I've got us down for Monday, and then what I would do from there is I just would get some property information to get Greg ready for that appointment. I'm going to always want to take Greg, or you want to coach or mentor someone to go to that appointment to see, if you can close that deal. That's just a light sample of, and actually that's a light sample of what we do every Thursday night at 6:30. We have role play in our cold calls. And many of you guys in the audience are on those calls. And it works.
So that's cold calling, you guys. And so when I think of, Jabari wants you guys to clap. Go ahead.
My name's Harvey Banks, and I'd like to critique this little scenario.
Okay, I would love for you to,
Um,
especially,
that was
start with Karen. How did she do?
well, I'm critiquing the overall, not individual.
Okay.
The overall that I'm critique is it went too smooth. Okay, so how do you deal or challenge a customer?
We practice objections.
Okay,
If someone was we've been working on this the last month or so, not to take too much time here, but one of the more popular objections is, I'm not interested. So what do you say when someone says, I'm not interested? You got to understand that when we call these people, most of them are armed. They're almost like a boxer. We have to learn how to disarm them. And so if you want to know the answer to that, let's talk about that when we eat our sandwich.
But he's right. It's
Yeah.
not as smooth.
Right.
We made it smooth just for purposes of this lunch and learn. But there's some bumps along the way. The more calls you make, it gets easier for you. And you start to deal with and learn how to deal with the objections that they have. Are the people going to hang up on you? Yes. Are the people going to reach through the phone and ring your neck? No, that's not going to happen. So you just keep calling, because I can probably tell you for about, I don't know, maybe 70, 80 calls you make, you're going to get an appointment. Okay. And then probably for about every 10 appointments, you're going to close a deal. And so if that's the numbers, you got to get to that 70 or 80. And so you've got to get some hangups. You've got to get a lot of objections. You got to get through all of them to get that one deal. What does that one deal mean to you? That one deal could mean 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 on a wholesale deal. That one deal could mean 70, 80, 100,000 on a flip. That one deal could mean $600, $700, $800 a month in positive cash flow and $100,000 in equity. Now, so the question is, are you willing to go through those 80 calls to get to those appointments, and then go through those appointments to get to that one deal, to get to those numbers? That's the question. Do you have the wherewithal? Do you have the patience? Do you have the endurance to do that? If the answer is yes, then you do that. And that's one of the things that you do. Everybody with me? Can y'all just shake your hand or say amen or something? Are y'all awake?
Amen.
Oh, there we go. All right, I'm ready. All right, so we talked about direct mail. We talked about cold calling. Most of our, a lot of our investors are actually buying properties through the auction. They're going to the auction, they're buying properties at the auction, they're putting properties under contract at the auction. There's different types of auctions. As an example, I bought a property in Baltimore. I think it was 212, I think it was either 13 or 23, Bel Air Edison. And so I saw this property on hubzu.com. And so I went to hubzu.com, hubzu.com, and I said, I'm gonna spend a Saturday in Baltimore. This was about 5 or 6 years ago. I'm gonna spend a day in Baltimore, and I'm just gonna see, because I wasn't at that time too convinced that Baltimore was the market for me. I had dibbled and dabbled in Baltimore, but I said, you know what? I'm gonna spend the day in Baltimore. I'm gonna look at this is a true story. I'm gonna look at about 5 properties, and I'm gonna go by myself. And at the end of looking at those 5 properties, I'm gonna go to Bo Brooks and treat myself to lunch. You know what I'm saying? You've been at Bo Brooks? It's right on the water. It's really nice. Malika, you would even like Bo Brooks. It's right on the water. It's not as high of a standard that you're used to, but it's pretty good. She did that at the harbor and all that. But anybody heard of Bo Brooks in Baltimore? Write that down. Go to Bo Brooks this weekend. So I looked at 5 properties, one of which was this property that was on Hubzu, on Lake Avenue. So I looked at the property and I said, I'm going to make an offer on this property. And I ran my numbers and I said, I'm going to buy this property for $40,000. It was an online auction that ended at about 9 o'clock at night. And so at about 9 o'clock, a few days later, about 9 o'clock, the bidding was up to, I didn't bid. I waited to bid. I always like to bid last or late. The bidding had got up to about 30,000. I said, okay, it's about a minute to go. And about a minute to go, it got up to about 31,000 and then 32,000. And it just kept going. It's about 11 o'clock or maybe 10 o'clock. And then I was like, look, I need to go to bed. I'm going to shoot my shot. And if I lose, I lose. So I bid at 40,000. And guess what happened? I won the bid. I won the bid for $40,000. What do you think was happening behind the scenes? Somebody tell me.
People fall
People-
asleep.
Huh?
People fall asleep.
Somebody might have been getting it up.
If somebody was there.
Somebody was probably bidding it up against me not knowing. But anyway, did everybody understand that? They were just bidding it up. Probably not even a buyer. They were just bidding it up. And then I got to 40. They was probably like, okay, I want probably the bank. I want that 40. I'll take that 40. That actually happened to me in DC. But anyway, so I won it at 40,000. I think I paid cash for it. I renovated the property, put about 20,000 into it, and rented that property out. And probably have about a positive cash flow about $1,000, and it's worth about 179, 180 now. And so I won that at the auction.
Okay, I know you made an investor-friendly bid on your numbers to begin with. How often does a person who makes good bid numbers actually win the bid?
So that's a good question. And so the answer is you're not winning every time.
Yeah.
You're not even winning most of the time. And so I don't know, on average, you might win for every 10 to 20, it just depends. Yeah, 10 to 20, you're going to win. But when you win something at the auction, it's a great deal. I mean, obviously, it's a great deal. Now, at the auction, you're paying a commission. And so in my case, I think I paid the 40,000 plus a 5% commission to the auctioneer. You guys with me? They don't call it a commission. It's a commission. They don't call it a commission. What do they call it? Huh? A buyer's premium. It's called a buyer's premium. But it's a commission. So let's not get confused. And that goes to the auctioneer. Sometimes it's 5%. Sometimes it's 10%. So you got to work that into your numbers. Okay. There's different types of auctions. That was online. There's auctions at the courthouse steps. In Baltimore, going back to Baltimore, Ashland Auctions, they have an auction every single day, it seems like, and it's at the property. Theirs is at the property. And so one of our coaching students actually, we did a shadow event where once a month we actually go out and look at properties. We're actually going out tomorrow to look at some properties in, I think, primarily Capitol Heights and District Heights. And we're looking at auction properties. This particular Saturday, we looked at a property in Marshall Heights, real close to where Dwayne's property is. And so we looked at the property, then we went and looked at some other properties. And one of my coaching students said, you know what, that first property we looked at, I'm gonna make an offer on that. And it was through Ashland Auctions. It was that Tuesday. Long story short, he bid on the property and won. And so he rented that property, he bought it, needed only real light renovations. And he's currently renting that property out to the veterans program. So he has 2 veterans in there, and the VA is paying the rent for them.
That's gonna be my next question. Once you have the place, how do you finance the rehab?
How do you finance the rehab?
Yeah.
So there's a number of different ways to finance the rehab, but somebody mentioned hard money earlier. So you can use a hard money lender. You can use a traditional lender and get a rehab loan. You can pay cash for the rehab. And so there's a number of different ways. Yeah. So I think a lot of investors, just because they want to save cash, they use hard money. Sometimes I'll use hard money. Sometimes I'll use my line of credit. So it's just various ways. Auction, you guys, you follow the auction. You have to, all the properties that I'm talking about, we go by formulas. We just don't bid kind of willy-nilly. There's a method to our madness. And so we bid according to a certain formula. Our formula is 65% of the after repair value minus repair costs. 65% of the after repair value minus repair costs. You guys with me? So let's say that the after repair value, which we call ARV, after repair value is what the house is worth once it's completely renovated. Okay? Once it's completely renovated, stainless steel, hardwood floors or LVP, new windows if it needs it, new kitchen if it needs it, new bathroom. Once it's completely renovated, it'll sell for on the market, let's just say 300,000. You guys with me? So the 300,000 is our after repair value. If we take 65% of that, we get what? 195,000, right? Minus repair costs. And so let's just say the repair cost is 60,000. So we take the 195 minus the repair cost of 60,000, and we get 135,000. That's what we're going to bid, and we're not going over that. I know what Jay's going to ask me. Can I guess? Let me guess first. You're going to say, what about Baltimore?
I mean, yes, but my question is, a lot of these auctions can't go in to see the property. So you have maybe 2 pictures or you just have a picture on the outside. So do you use the 20% rule for those, or do you hire for them?
So did everybody hear her question? She said her question is, for those online, her question is for the properties that you can't get into, is the formula the same? And so what I do on a foreclosed property or auction property that I can't get into, I use 60% of the after repair value minus repair costs. I take a look at the outside of the property. And generally speaking, the inside is indicative of whatever the outside is looks like. I try to look into the windows. I try to look online to see if there's any pictures or previous pictures of that property. And so I bid that way. And so it's risky. But if it's in a neighborhood that you want, because I know there's particular like zip codes that you like, it's worth the chance. And so I go down a little bit. I go down to 60%.
But if you can't see, right, you're doing 60% of the ARV, the rehab cost wise, are you doing 20%?
For rehab, I'm using 20% of the after repair value. So in this case, if ARV is 300,000, I'm looking at $60,000 as the repair costs. If I can't see in, if I can't go in, if I can't determine. Now, if the outside of the house looks like it's just toe up from the flow up, somebody taught me that. I didn't. I'll use more for the repair costs. And generally speaking, like I said, the inside is going to look like the outside. And in a lot of cases, and we've taken you guys to a lot of the properties, the inside is not that bad. Now, obviously, some it is, but like the one that Dana bought, that house needed what, like $5,000 worth of work.
Right.
And so you just never know. But you run your numbers on the 60%.
Are there situations where you're more flexible, where you go higher on the LTV based on location? Like out the DC market, once it's listed, it's gonna be under contract. So you go higher, like 75%, closer to 80 in those situations versus
Not necessarily on a foreclosure. Only if it's a higher priced property. If it's a higher priced property, I might go 75%. And the reason why is, let's say it's let's say it's the after repair value is 800,000 and it's a foreclosure, ARV is 800,000. You with me? Generally speaking, you guys, write this down. Your profit should be around 20% of the after repair value. So if you're selling a property for 800,000, you're trying to walk away with 160,000. You with me? You're trying to walk away with 160,000. Now, on that property, if it's a foreclosure, you can go up to say 75%, but you're not going to walk away with 160,000. You might walk away with let's just say 20,000. Are you okay with walking away with 120,000?
What's the capital gains on that? Are you including the taxes you gotta pay on that?
Yeah, I'm just kind of throwing out. So I don't know that I'm throwing out like net profits on that. Capital gain just depends on how you are expensing everything. And so if you expense, so I know you're going to expense all the expenses you can against that property to get that capital gain down. You might even send a contractor over to your personal house and redo the bathroom and expense it against the house. You might do that. And so now your capital gain is little or nothing. You might do that, Urban. I've never done that before. And if I had done that, I would never tell you guys. So that really just depends on you. Now, in terms of the capital gain, there's ways to get around that. Who can tell me one? So you can do like what's called a 1031 exchange, where you can take that capital gain. Let's say the capital gain is 120,000, net 120. Instead of having to pay capital gain taxes on that 120, you can use that 120,000 put that against another property, a like-kind property, and your taxes are deferred. And so that's kind of how you do that. Auctions, you guys, follow the auctions. You want to figure out what areas you want to invest in. And so let's say that you want to focus on Upper Northwest, Petworth, Columbia Heights, Brightwood. Or you want to focus on Capitol Heights, District Heights, Suitland. You've got to know those zip codes, master those areas. When something comes on the market in those areas, now you're going to you want to bid on those properties because you know what the after repair value is on those properties. But you've got to target. I don't want you guys out here just kind of looking at everything, not until you've done a lot of properties, but target an area and then master that area. Target an area. I always give the example of we have one of our investors that targeted one of the areas in DC and was told that this is a great area. So what he did was he walked the neighborhood every weekend, just walked it, didn't drive for dollars, walked the neighborhood, talked to the neighbors, asked the neighbors if they knew of any properties up for sale or getting ready to go on the market for sale. And within a year, bought 2 properties in that neighborhood, a higher priced neighborhood in DC. But they just focused on that area. One thing that I would want for you guys is to master an area. Master an area. Pick an area. Let's say, for example, your area is Fort Washington, Maryland. You guys with me? Here's what you should be doing in Fort Washington, Maryland. Write this down. In Fort Washington, Maryland, if that's your area, you should be sending out postcards to all the absentee owners in Fort Washington, Maryland, 20744. So you should be sending out postcards to all the absentee owners. That's number one. You should be calling all the absentee owners in Fort Washington, Maryland. Calling, get that same list and call them. You should be driving for dollars and walking certain neighborhoods in Fort Washington, Maryland. And then we can condense that to, if you want, we can condense that to, let's just say Tantalion is a subdivision in Fort Washington. To Tantalion, I'm going to master Tantalion. I'm going to be, anybody live in Fort Washington? Anybody ever heard of Fort Washington? Okay. I'm going to be the king or queen, let's say the queen of Fort Washington. You get, I dare someone to do this. You get some pictures. You put a little, what's it called? A tiara? Is that what it's called? A crown? Is it a crown or a tiara?
Both.
It's called both? Okay. You put one of those on your head and you take some pictures and you send postcards saying, I'm the queen of Fort Washington. And you start branding yourself, cold calling, postcards, driving for dollars. And there's many other things you can do. Here's a guarantee. Here's my guarantee to you. If you do that on a consistent basis, you're going to get a minimum of one deal this year. You guys with me? Next year, you're going to get 2 deals. Year 3, you're going to get 4 deals. Year 5, you're going to get 8 deals. Why? You start branding yourself. You're going to start to see it slowly but surely. Your numbers may be a lot better than what I'm describing, which means in order to get to 2 deals a year or 4 deals a year, you got to start today, right? Because if you start 6 months from now, it's going to take a year to get that first deal, or maybe you'll get 2 in the first year. But you've got to have the patience and the wherewithal and the perseverance to get to that one deal. Now, how much money is that one deal going to cost you? It's probably going to cost you over a 12-month period. Let's say it cost you $2,500, about $200 a month, right? And let's say that at minimal, you're going to get that one deal and you're going to wholesale that deal. Question is, would you spend $2,500 over a 12-month period doing the same thing every month to get one deal to make $15,000? Anybody in here spend $2,500 to make $15,000? Cecil would. he has. And so then the question is, would you spend $2,500 to get 2 deals? You guys with me? Now, most of you guys won't do that because it takes patience. Again, it takes perseverance. You're going to get to month 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 and stop. You got to keep going. You've got to have a year campaign, and you've got to know that there's gold at the end of that rainbow. There's gold at the end of that journey. And as the people start seeing you every month, then every year, you're going to start to brand yourself. And they're going to see you at the Giant. You guys with me? They're going to see you at, what was that little restaurant on the water down there? No, that's in Baltimore. Fort Washington. There was a little restaurant, a little thing on the water I used to go to. Proud Mary's. You used to go to Proud Mary too, didn't you? They're going to see you at Proud Mary and say, aren't you the one on that postcard? Or aren't you the one it's in the Giant on the carts? And so that's what you've got to do. And that's how you start to brand yourself. And we'll get the branding next. Brand yourself, but it takes time. You're not going to find a deal. You can find a deal, especially if you go to an auction. You can find a deal in the next 30 days. That's very, very doable. But to brand yourself in a certain area, you guys, I've seen it. You can make a ton of money. Questions?
When you said mail postcards to the absentee owners, that's not to the actual addresses, right? That's to the address of the absentee owner?
No.
Oh.
No. So you're gonna mail to the home.
Oh, okay.
The homeowner lives at 123 Tantalion Drive in Fort Washington. That's where their home is. They live in Omaha, Nebraska. Right? You're right. You're mailing to Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay.
Yeah. You're mailing to Omaha, Nebraska. you're not mailing to the tenant
And so that information is typically available on like a prop stream or something like that?
everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere. So wherever you get a absentee owner list, it's going to give you two addresses. It's going to give you an address to the home, and it's going to give you an address
To where they live.
to where they live.
Okay, thank you.
And so you're going to mail to where they live. And then when you call, the script is, because you're going to get their phone number, the script is, my script is, hi, I'm Gregory Bennett with Bennettine Properties. I see you own a property at 123 Main Street in Fort Washington, Maryland. I was calling to see if you wanted to take a look at a cash offer for your property. That's my script. I'd like to make a cash offer on your property in Fort Washington. I have their phone number in Omaha, or I have their phone number in Clinton. They live in Clinton. The home is in Fort Washington. I have their information. And so that's your script if you're calling them. And so I want you guys to start thinking about how can you master and dominate a particular area, be it a subdivision, be it a zip code. How can you master that? And then have the patience to be able to wait until you get that first deal, knowing that you're going to get the second deal in half the time. You're going to get the third deal in even shorter period than that. But what we do is we run out of patience. We think that real estate investing is a get rich quick scheme. It's not. It can be, but it's not. You just have to have the patience. All right, so branding and social media. How do we brand ourselves? The best way to brand ourselves is through social media. And so that's where a lot of our students get deals, through social media. And so they're posting, we buy houses, sort of the same things that we're talking about here with the postcards they do on social media. And then they brand themselves. We're wearing, like I'm branding myself. I have a shirt on with my brand on it. You guys can do the same thing, hats and shirts and things like that. But branding, part of the definition of marketing is being, as an entrepreneur, is being in front of the people, or being where the people are. Where are the people? Where's your clientele? Where are they right now as we speak?
Facebook.
So that's where his people are because he's old. That's where his people are. The millennials are like, what's Facebook? So it's social media, Snapchat, it's Twitter, it's Instagram. What's that other one? TikTok. They're on TikTok. Huh? They're on what?
It's gonna take over Twitter.
Threads?
It's the Zuckerberg version of Twitter.
Threads is
It's the Facebook version of Twitter.
Has it started yet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You hit the
They were
button.
talking about it on the news, Greg, like last week or so.
Threads? No, Threads for millennials? Are they for Gen X's? Are they for baby boomers? Okay. Harry, you ever heard of Threads?
It's new. It's new.
Well, if Harry has heard of Threads, then it's legit. Are you on Threads? You're on Threads? How come y'all didn't tell me about Threads?
It's so new, like.
Y'all said Threads. You know what I thought, right? Y'all was looking at my clothes. Cecil,
Don't do it.
don't do it.
Do it.
Are you on Threads, Cecil?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Cecil not on Threads.
Is that how you make some money wholesale?
No.
Okay, well, I ain't on it then.
Threads is the clothes you have on.
Go
Your
ahead.
Threads. All right, well, Threads. We got to be where the people are, okay? I mean, that's the point. And the people are on social media, and you want to buy houses, then you've got to be there. The last thing is networking, and we've talked about networking. I would say that probably networking amongst everything is probably one of the most important things you can do, or the most important. When I talk to some of my colleagues and ask them where do they find deals? Where are you finding deals? Most of my colleagues who've been in the game for a while, most of them will say networking. They've branded themselves to the point where they're getting leads coming into them. People are referring them business. And so you've got a network. Part of networking, you guys, is you have to have the ability to scream out the door, scream out the window that you're a real estate investor and that you buy houses, and you buy houses fast, and you buy houses cash. You've got to be you have to be willing to do that. You cannot be a secret investor. I tell my real estate agents all the time, you can't be a secret agent. You want to be a secret agent, you go work for the CIA, the FBI, or the DEA. All right? If you want to sell real estate or invest in real estate, everybody needs to know that you do this, to the point that you have a referral program. We call it bird dogging. Anybody ever heard of bird dogging? What's a bird dog? Somebody tell me what a bird dog is.
Yeah. Ken, what's a bird dog?
Lori?
They'll
Huh?
find a deal and they'll get a finder's fee.
And so you let all your family, friends, colleagues, everyone you know that you are a real estate investor. And when they refer a property to you, then you give them some type of referral fee, even if it's just a gas card. Now, I like to, reward my bird dogs handsomely. If I might give them 5% of what I make, or sometimes even 10%. Why do I reward them handsomely? Tell me.
Because they'll want to come back again and they'll try to help.
If
out.
somebody refers you a deal, and you're going to get this, if somebody refers you a deal and you wholesale that deal and make $15,000, or you flip a property and make $100,000, or you buy and hold a property that you're going to have for the next 10 years and make $1,000 a month every single month, and then sell it and make $200,000, should you reward them for that opportunity?
Yes.
Huh?
Do you pay your guys, how do you pay your bird dog? You pay them after you get a settlement, or how you do it?
Yeah, I pay them if I close the deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I usually, I got 3 of them that work for me, and usually I give them some at the end of the month, even if I didn't close it.
Oh, really?
Yes,
So they're sending you deals on a regular basis.
yes.
Okay, and
Okay,
so it's
yeah,
not,
yeah.
they're not sending you deals per se. They're just finding houses that look to be vacant or
Right, they
abandoned.
drive over, or drive whatever, they see something that, I tell them, tall grass, I can use in the window, that's my problem.
Okay,
And even if I don't close that month from them, I give them 50, 25, but I close something else. I
okay.
have it what they said.
All right, well, do your thing. I don't do that.
Like,
If I close on a deal, I'll give it to them.
Yeah, but you gotta keep them hungry though.
Okay, okay.
I do the same thing, Greg.
You pay them?
I do. I have 5. And,
Okay,
one is my coworker. So every 2 weeks, she'll send me something. Like this morning, I got 20 properties.
20 properties. Okay, so let me ask you this question. So they sent you 20 properties. What are you doing with those 20 properties?
You want to skip trace and call,
So they're just giving you the address.
address and picture.
They're giving you address and picture. What information do you need to find out from that address and picture?
The homeowner.
You want to know who the homeowner is, and you want their phone number.
Correct.
And so how do you get that?
I skip trace through PropStream.
So you use PropStream to get that information. That's the act of skip tracing. When we have an address, we want to find out who the homeowner is and their phone number. I mean, we can get their email address and social media and all that, but you skip trace. And so we use different platforms to skip trace. And so that's what so are you doing that yourself? Oh, you're putting that onto PropStream and they're doing it for you.
I put the address in, I save it, and then I skip trace.
Okay. And you're paying 10 cents for that?
It's 12.
It's 12 cents?
Mhm.
Okay.
Is that per property?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. REI skip is 10 cents. I thought I just paid for a list that was 10 cents because it was a bigger list.
I think for you, it's 10 with the link that Keith gives us.
Oh, okay. Okay. Go ahead. Hold up, Cecil.
Do you set up a contractual agreement? Like, I'm thinking from this perspective, if I were to bird dog for somebody, would I want to set up a contractual agreement if I'm getting paid on the back end? Like, how do you typically see that happen?
I've never had an agreement like that.
Right.
You might want to. It's just because I trust
Right.
that, or they trust me that I'm going to pay them. If you don't know them that well, you might want to do that. But I think the bigger picture for you is you should not be doing the bird dogging. Other people should be bird dogging for you. Okay. And that's just kind of like mindset.
Yeah.
Like you are the investor. Everybody in here is an investor. You need to get people to bird dog for you. Somebody say amen.
Right.
I just wanted to see whether people, if you look at the property up and you see that it's in an LLC, where do you go from there? I just wanted to get the answer.
You want me to answer or do you want them to answer?
I just want to know if anybody knows what to do at that point.
Harry, what's the answer?
LLC.
Huh?
Look up the LLC.
There you go. Okay. I was just wondering.
Yeah, you can go to you can go to what's it called in Maryland? SDAT. You can go to SDAT. SDAT has a part of SDAT. You can put in LLCs, and they'll tell you who the resident agent is.
But in fact, only one person said I feel good.
Okay. So yeah, they'll tell you who the resident agent is, but the resident agent is not always necessarily the owner of the property, but they will tell you who the resident agent is. All right, where are we? All right, so bird dogs. We're networking with our bird dogs. We're passing out business cards. We're networking at auctions. We're networking at events like this, meetups, RIAs, lunch and learn. We're networking at all these places. We're networking with probate attorneys. You guys with me? Divorce attorneys we're networking with. And other investors we're networking with. I said one of the top investors in our area came to visit me yesterday. He's networking with me. He's asking me, do I have other deals? He's networking. And so we've got to get out here and network.
Might want to add TOPA attorney.
TOPA attorneys. Yeah, we talked about TOPA earlier. And so TOPA, for those that don't know, what does TOPA stand for again, Urban?
Tenants, opportunity to purchase.
So in DC and other cities, the tenants have the first right of refusal to purchase a property. And sometimes they'll hire an attorney when the owner of the property wants to sell. They either form a group because they can sell their rights. They can sell their rights to purchase the property. They've sold their rights to me before, so they can sell their rights. So they may hire an attorney. All right, page 10, you guys, real quick, page 10. A lot of things we've already gone over. In real estate investing, you guys, like any other business, we use technology to help us run our business, to make our business more efficient. And real estate investing is the same. And so we talked about PropStream. And so I don't see PropStream on here. And so write that down. PropStream for us is probably the #1 CRM that we use. PropStream has, within PropStream.com, it has the skip tracing in there. It has the templates for postcards. It has a deal analyzer, so it will do the math for you to analyze a deal. It has the deal repair cost estimator in there. So you put everything in that needs to be renovated. It'll give you the repair cost. What am I missing?
You can break out 10,000 leads a month.
You can get leads in there in PropStream. And so if you're serious about the business, I would highly recommend, and a number of our investors have PropStream. How much is PropStream? Is it $97 a month? Okay, all right, so $97 a month. Website, you can actually get a website out of PropStream. And so you can get a website. My website is out of OnCarrot.com. So the first one on here, OnCarrot.com. I bought an OnCarrot website maybe 10 years ago or so, and I still have it, fastcashdmv.com. And so I still have that. I got that out of OnCarrot. You can do email marketing. You can do email marketing out of PropStream, but some use Constant Contact. Direct mail, yellowletters.com. We talked about PropStream. We talked about postcardmania.com. We use a lot of virtual assistants. And so we get our virtual assistants out of upwork.com. And so we utilize virtual assistants. Why do we use virtual assistants? Somebody tell me. Why do we use virtual assistants? Huh?
Automation.
They're kind of automated, does free up our time. What else? We can reach more people. It's inexpensive, but more importantly, I think the number one reason we use virtual assistants is because they're skilled. They're skilled at what they do. And so we use, in our office, we use virtual assistants for a little bit of everything, including digital marketing, including our title company has a virtual assistant that does is our processor. But the callers, they're skilled, they're trained. They've already dealt with objections. You call them and say, I'd like for you to call, I'm using Mojo. You don't have to train them on Mojo. They already know Mojo. Call tools that we have, they already know call tools. So they're skilled laborers and they're dedicated, they care about their job, more so, in my opinion, than a lot of Americans, because they rely on it. And in their economy, jobs are scarce, obviously. And so I think for all of those reasons, we use virtual assistants, and we use them for almost a little bit of everything that we do. A live answering service. If you were to go to fastcashdmv.com, my website, and if you were to call the number on that website right now, a live person is going to answer the phone. And I have that live person. You want to sell your house, you call that number, a live person is going to answer if you call right now. And I use this company, PetLive.com, to answer my calls 24/7. We talked about the list service, services, ListSource, Listability, PropStream, and Melissa Data are the ones we use. The automatic dialers, Mojo, and you can put calltools.com. We use Call Tools. Skip tracing, we talked about skip tracing. And then everybody should have a free line for investing. You can go to, what's it called? You can get a Google Voice number. I think PropStream gives you a number too, don't they? Does PropStream give you a number, a phone number?
Like for technical support?
No, just a number for your business.
Not sure. Not sure.
And so look, you guys, it's been a lot of information. I see a lot of you guys are taking notes. The biggest thing that I can leave with you guys is you got to take action. That's the biggest thing. You have to take action. There's a lot of opportunities out here that you can take advantage of. And hopefully you guys do. You do need guidance. You do need support. We do have a coaching program that can provide those things for you. Keith, you want to talk about the coaching program real quick?
Just for a minute. First off, guys, make sure you fill out the pink slips for two reasons. One, because we're always interested in your content that you like we're going to discuss on these lunch and learns. So that's one reason. The second reason you want to fill this out is we have a TV here that we're going to raffle at lunch. So you need to fill it out completely and then put it in this box. And I'm sure that someone out there we'll be walking out. Actually, I'll probably have to carry it to your car.
Are children allowed to enter?
This is, you're the leader. It's the leader's decision.
He's been taking notes? Okay, go ahead and enter. Go ahead. Since he's been, has she been taking notes?
He's been doing some school.
No, she can't enter.
Why not? That's not true.
She's been taking school notes. She hasn't been paying attention. But he has.
Hey, guys, so it's July, right? Let's end the year strong. Many of you guys, and you know who you are, you need to consider sitting down with me. Let's get a plan together. Let's not let this day go by without at least thinking about, how do I get to Christmas? What can I accomplish before Christmas? We do have products. We do have a platinum coaching program. We've got an inner circle as well. I don't want to talk products and services here, but I will be here when we're eating lunch. Let's talk. Let's set an appointment on it so that we can be in the room with the whiteboard, and wherever you are right now, let's get you here. That's what I would say. We have many platinum coaching students in here today. Raise your hands, guys, our students. So there's.
Are you guys eating breakfast with us tomorrow? Are you guys going tomorrow?
Yeah. So you guys have testimony right here of some of our students to see what their experience has been, right? So, but I will be here, and I would love to talk to you. I would love to set an appointment so that we can move forward with our investing activities.
You guys have any questions about anything that we talked about or anything else as it relates to real estate investing? Anybody?
What is your name, sir? I'm sorry. Okay, let's get a sandwich so we can go over some of the objections. Those objections, I want to just fill you in on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, Karen, now you're not the special one. Any questions, you guys? You guys ready? You guys ready to start investing in some real estate? Anybody nervous about investing? Nervous, apprehensive? Tell me why. Tell me why.
Something new, it's human nature. It's just something new, something different, outside of your comfort zone. And again, the nervousness is just coming from not knowing, or having a true education background. Come to these type of sessions, helps to make you feel a little bit more secure.
Gain your confidence a little bit. I will tell you guys that coming to these lunch and learns is not enough. Like you need more. You need more coaching, more mentorship. You need opportunities. We'll go out in the field tomorrow and look at about 3 or 4 properties. All 3 or 4 properties will be opportunities for our coaching students. They may or may not buy them, but then we also go through and estimate the repair cost and things like that. That's what you guys need. You need that. And so if you guys want to get involved, see Keith, but that's going to gain your confidence. The gentleman in the back, you're feeling a little appressive? Same reasons? Okay.
I think one thing too that, Greg is kind of modest in his accomplishments, but he's going to go to the appointments with you, hold your hand to get that deal to the finish line. So, just focus on your marketing right now. Focus on your marketing of yourself. Get the appointment, and now Greg can be there to be Superman and try to save the day.
And so, look, you guys, you need to have a team, and your team is going to help you succeed. We have an investor-friendly title company here, and Tiffany, you want to say a couple words?
Sure, okay.
She's with our investor-friendly title company.
Everybody?
They're very familiar with like wholesale deals, subject to all the owner financing, all things like that, and a lot of title companies are not.
Okay, just make it brief. I'm glad y'all came out. And again, my name is Tiffany. I work with Atarsha Philibert. She's actually the one's in charge of the Celebrate Settlements. Also too, we have a coworker, Kim, who works here. She's actually the processor. And Steve, he's the, I'm trying to remember, he's the post closer. So he's the third one, the last person that will make sure everything is recorded and we walk you through the whole step of the way. And I'm usually the first person that you reach, and we definitely do enjoy working with everybody here. Our goal is to get you to the finish line. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to pick up the phone. And we are investor friendly, and we look forward to working with you.
All right, Tiffany.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
You guys are going to need to get your properties financed. And so my hope for you guys is to buy at least one buy and hold property this year or within the next 12 months. Buying and holding real estate is what's going to make you wealthy. Quick cash is wholesaling. Another cash strategy is flipping properties. Those are great strategies because you need cash to then buy and hold. But at the end of the day, you need to buy and hold properties, whether it's residential properties, multifamily. Gentleman right there is interested in multifamily, Airbnb, whatever it is, you're going to need cash for that. But ultimately, in order for you to build wealth, build generational wealth, leave a legacy for your loved ones, and retire financially free, you need to buy and hold real estate. And you need to put yourself in a position to do that, be it saving your money, be it fixing your credit, whatever that is. You have to have a buy and hold strategy in order to build wealth. Your retirement plan is not going to be enough for you guys. You need some supplemental income. And so real estate buying and holding is the answer for that. Question in the back?
Yes, I may have been late, but I know that this question was addressed. Do you help with financing these properties?
Yeah, that's where I was going. And so we have one of our newest loan officers, Justin. He's working for PRMG Mortgage. He's very learned on investment loans for the real estate agents in here. Also, residential properties. He can do your FHA. But he's working alongside Tarsha on the investment loan. So you can see him afterwards. Justin, you just want to introduce yourself?
Hi, nice to see everyone. I'm Justin. I am here locally, so if you guys have any questions, feel free to stop by. I look forward to talking to you.
So he knows all the DSCR loans and all the things like that.
He does hard money?
No, well, we have access to a hard money lender, but I can also refer you to a hard money lender. Keith talked about our coaching program. Any questions, you guys? Any questions? So look, you guys, it's time to take action, okay? You guys have been here for an hour, hour and a half. It's time to take action. When I can't tell you that there's probably more opportunities out here than investors. And so what I see is the same investors are getting the deals. The same investors are doing the wholesaling. The same cash buyers are buying these properties. You want to put yourself, what's your name?
Justin.
Another Justin. Justin, you've got to put yourself in a position where, number one, your mindset says that I'm going to be an investor. And then number two, your mindset says that I'm going to take action. And I'm going to start wholesaling. Then I'm going to graduate to buying and holding. I'm going to start working on my credit if need be. I'm going to start saving my money. I'm going to get educated. But it starts right here with your mind. You are going to do it, Justin. Somebody tell Justin he's going to do it. And so that goes for everybody. We're all investors in here. We're all looking for a better way of life. Some of us are unfortunately living paycheck to paycheck. Some of us are honestly barely making it. It's a tough economy out here. We all know that. But real estate investing, whenever times are tough for me, I fall back on real estate investing. I fall back on wholesaling. When the market crashed in 2007, 2008, where my income was more than cut in half, where I had a portfolio at that time, about 13 properties. I had to start, in order to survive, start selling them off. It was the real estate investing that kept me afloat until the market got better, until lenders could lend. It was a dark time for me, y'all looking at me like I was the only one suffering then. But I mean, that's the truth. And with real estate investing is what saved me. And I want real estate investing to be the catalyst for you to build wealth. And so that's all I have. You guys enjoy the lunch, network with each other. Let's come back in about 15, 20 minutes and we'll do a raffle for the TV. You can only win if you guys are here. Thank you guys very much. You guys turn in your sheets.
Yeah,
here.
fill these out and put them in the blue box.
Thank you so much. Great
Justin,
information.
you can do it.